Where has the everlasting gospel been preached? I'm talking about the everlasting. I'm talking about the complete gospel. See, because we've really been taught fragments of the gospel. We've been taught certain things, and that's, they hammer you with it. They hammer you over the head with certain things, and other things they don't touch. They don't touch a lot of the things that Jesus said. No, man. Because see, Jesus was the gospel. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And some people that have went over the world to teach the gospel, they went over it to teach the people so that they could get them to be, what you would say, docile or whatever. They would get them to be a bit more, I guess you would say, to be more peaceful, yet they were stealing and taking from them after they got them to be like that. I'm sorry if you get mad at what I said, but you know what? That's just tough. That's tough. It's really tough. But that happened. But this is the deep part of it. This is the deep part. Here is the deep part. So when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, meaning stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Yeah. Now, when you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, this is Jesus talking about a specific thing. He's talking about, not only specific, he's talking about a specific thing. I'll tell you one thing, and I know you're probably going to take offense to it, but one thing, ever since 11/2016, we've had something like that, an abomination of desolation, really, staying in the holy place. 2016, that's recently. But before, we had an abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel, the prophet, stand in the holy place. Way back a few years more than that. In fact, about in the 1940s. That's right. There was an abomination of desolation, right? Abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet to stand in the holy place. And it's in parenthesis. It's in parenthesis saying, whoso readeth, let him understand. And what was that? What was that abomination? Because whatever that abomination was that Jesus is talking about, it's happening. It's happening. And it's multiplying itself, and it's getting more. It's getting more of an abomination of desolation. That's right. And see, it's making things desolate. Means it is destroying things. Man, this is deep. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the high housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. In other words, run. Like run, fast, run. Saints, run. That's right, run. That's right. That's right. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter. Okay. Neither on the Sabbath day. Ooh. Neither on the Sabbath day, man. For then shall be great tribulation such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But I like this because God put a pause in this. He said, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. That's right. See, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. You know, you got a bunch of fools with weapons of mass destruction, and that's what I'm calling them, fools. You got a bunch of fools with weapons of mass destruction that have spent trillions, and I don't know what the next thing after trillions, they done spent trillions of dollars on weapons to destroy civilization. And eventually, I believe that's going to happen. You see, God don't play. His word is real, and when you read Revelation, you talk about certain things in this, and the moon turning to this is what the different things of the atmosphere being shaken. Man, that's some heavy stuff. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. No, you don't believe it. Because they're going to have people who can do, you see magicians, you got some magicians do stuff, man, that's fantastic. So they're going to have people like that. They're going to have people can pull not only rabbits out of the hat, they probably can pull people out of a hat. You know, because wickedness is going to increase. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great, they're going to show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Yeah, you're going to have people that are going to be looking and say, wow, these people here got something, man. They got something. And then Jesus said, he said here, behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. And you got people going in secret chambers, man. Are they looking for who they looking for? You're going to find in the secret chamber. Please. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. That's right. That's right. That's what Jesus said. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. In other words, you ain't going to find him walking on no ground. You ain't going to find him in no cave. You ain't going to find him in no secluded place. You know, especially in no secluded place with no whole lot of candles burning. You know what I'm talking about. You ain't going to find him there. You're not going to find Jesus. Jesus is the light of the world. The light of the world. So that's all there is to that. And then it says, immediately after the tribulation in those days shall the sun be darkened. Woo, and the moon shall not give her light. That's right. Something is going to cause that to happen. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. So that's a big explosion in God's universe. Nothing like the explosion that he made to make it, but it's a man-made explosion. Really. But it ain't like the explosion he made when he said be and it was, and this world start coming together. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven, with power and great glory. That's right. That's it. Now, this is what Jesus said. This is what Jesus said about this. I don't believe that, see, and you got people that meddle. They meddle. See, God tore up Israel. First, he tore up the 10 tribes he tore up the 10 tribes in Samaria. Yep, he tore up the 10 tribes in Samaria and sent them out, sent them in bondage. And then he tore up, later on, Because the Judah, you know, Benjamin and the tribes of Judah and Benjamin was doing pretty good. But then when they started going off, and they started going off after Solomon was the king. But even the succession of some of them coming after Solomon, which his son took over, and that started a whole lot of stuff because they did not want to accept the counsel of the older people. They wanted to go with the young bloods. The young bloods wanted to, you know, they wanted to do everything, and that caused really a breakup of the 10 tribes of Samaria, because you got to read the Bible to understand it, because I can't explain it all to you. You got to have know what I have read for you to understand it. You know, so I can't recite the whole Bible. I can't recite the whole Bible to you. I'm just giving you important points of it. Okay, and in Samaria was after, what's his name? Oh boy, he was Jeroboam. Jeroboam was from Ephraim, and Jeroboam just, you know, Jeroboam messed up Samaria, the 10 tribes in Samaria, and they started going off the chain, you know, off the hook, unhinged, so to speak, and Judah was staying, you know, they were staying pretty good. But after a while, they both digressed from God's commandments, you know, slowly but surely. And God is the one that took them apart. They did it beginning to do it under, he began to do it, really, under Nebuchadnezzar in the Babylonian Empire. He began to do that. Okay? And I don't believe that God, after reading this book, I don't believe that God gave Gentiles to put his people back together. I don't believe it. I really don't. You know why? Because Gentiles are not fair with God's folks. You understand? He didn't give Gentiles or Edomites to put back his people. If he took them apart, he said he'll bring them back together. That's in 37th chapter. You got to read the 37th chapter of Ezekiel very good, because he said, I'm going to bring all my people back together. That's what he said. I will bring them back. Not the UN, not no American president, not no Russian president, not no any other kind of president going to bring back the people of God. They ain't going to bring them back, because that's not their job. But as man does, man is going to meddle. He always does, because, hey, listen, at one time, he wanted to build a tower. Check this out. He wanted to build a tower. And the tower wanted, you know, this was after the flood, he wanted to build a tower that would reach up to heaven, man. And they could climb up to heaven and go to war against God. And God said, wait a minute. What's wrong? What's wrong with these people? And that's when he sent all the languages down here. Ever how many languages there is he put on that tower, and them people couldn't understand each other, and they was messing up, and he said, give me a brick, and they was giving them something else because they couldn't understand the languages. I said to myself, if God did that with that set of people, what is he going to do with this set that's just going, we're going to build another tower, Lord. We're coming up there. We're coming up there to get you. That's right, because we got more technology. Don't you know God gave us the mindset to make all of this technology, but he didn't give it to us where we'll overcome him with it. But he gave us the mindset to invent, and to to make things easier. But man, we done went crazy. Look at the cell phone. Look at the cell. Every time I go and I look on the bus, man, and 70% of the people, man, if they got a cell phone, they looking at it. They looking at it. Me included, because I'll pull mine out once in a while, check it out. But, you know, gave him some kind of, I'll be done looked in this Bible, man, and read some scriptures. Because the Bible, like I'm saying, it's just something about the words of the Bible that you know is true. Even the parts that, you got some parts of the Bible that is really boring. But if you read it, and you start reading, you say, well, it was put there for a reason about how to make the draperies in the temple and all of that, and you know, certain lengths of this and certain lengths of that, and making you know, what you call them? Oh man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And this is what he gave us. He gave us this. King James didn't give us this Bible, all right? King James got his name on it, but he didn't give us the Bible. They changed the versions. They say what the versions been changed so much, but I tell you what, it ain't changed that much, because I got one of the first versions of the King James Bible, and I check out the wording of the you know, the newer, you know, the last version of the King James Bible, and it ain't too much difference. You know, they took the thous and the these out, and they did this and that and stuff, you know. But it's not too much difference. It really ain't. It's not. Because, see, a lot of people, they say, well, so and so and so and so. It says this. I say, yeah, but I'm going to keep my King James Bible for the simple reason is that's what I was so-called, that's what I began to read. So I ain't gonna turn away from that. That was the original. And I had my grandmother had the original Bible that was with the 80 books, the 14 books that, you know, Catholics then put in their book. And I don't even know if they teach it. I've only been to Catholic church maybe. Well, I used to go to Catholic training school, but I don't even know if they preach from Tobit and what's the other one? Songs, yeah. Not Song of Solomon, because that's in the Bible, but yeah, the wisdom of Solomon and Baruch and Esdras and stuff. I don't even know if they preach that. But I read it, and I said, wow, it goes along with a lot of what I've read in the other 66 books. So I accept it. I accept it. If they don't accept it, I don't care. I accept it. I accept the truth within all of that stuff, all the truth. The truth is what we need, because, man, we're not getting the truth now. We're not getting the truth. We are in the last stages of the age of grace. That's right. The grace age. That's right.